And he looked at me and he looked at Joe, and he's like, "What happened out there?" And there was a giant battle map, like literally wallpaper. And I just walked through it with him. I was like, "Hey, sir, I had an element here, had an element here. My element moved to here. This Iraqi element pushed down." He goes, they went past a limited advance. My guys didn't know who they were, engaged them. They called the QRF. My guys got engaged by the QRF. My guys called the heavy QRF. I came down and made the connection. And he was like, and this guy was, he'd been in Ramadi for 6 months as a battalion commander, or 5 months or whatever it was at that time. I guess they got there in December. Yeah. So it'd been like 4 or 5 months. He was just awesome. And he was like, okay. He's like, we learned from that. Don't let it happen again. We got another mission to do. And I was like, roger that, sir. And so we went, rejocked, went out again, did a whole nother operation, got done with that clearance sector. And again, now everything's, we didn't have any more of these things happen. And then we came back, did it again, boom, rolled out. So we end up doing clearances the whole day, engaging all kinds of enemy fighters, the whole 9 yards. And then I get back once the last mission is done, because these were daytime operations. Other than us inserting at night, once the sun was setting, the Iraqi soldiers can't clear it at night. So it's a daytime operation. That's why. So I get back and I open up my field computer, and needless to say, I had some emails and some texts, the webby texts to explain that, hey, stand down. Investigation is commencing as to what happened. And I'm like, yeah, roger that. So we consolidate and we go back over to Western Ramadi, Camp Mark, what we end up calling Camp Mark Lee. And now I'm getting ready to debrief, and my skipper sends me an email like, hey, we'll be out there tomorrow. Be ready to debrief. And now now one Iraqi soldier's dead, multiple Iraqi soldiers wounded, and one of my guys wounded, blue on blue. Dude, it's a freaking nightmare. It's a nightmare. So I spend the next however many hours trying to figure out who is to blame for this. My assumption is someone's getting fired, right? Because you can't have a blue on blue and no one gets fired. My assumption is someone's getting fired. So it's kind of the question is who's getting fired. So I go down the list of like the element leader that was in charge of the Iraqi soldiers. Guess what he didn't do? He didn't keep control of those soldiers and let them go down and leave the limit of advance. The radio man that was in charge of that element that moved positions didn't tell me or anyone else where he's going. He just did it. Shooter shot a guy without doing a good PID. Like, I went down the list and was figuring out who was to blame. And there was something in my gut that felt so disgusted by my thoughts. And I was probably, a half an hour away from when the CO arrived. And I couldn't figure out why I felt so disgusted in this debrief. And it occurred to me like a giant slap upside my head that the reason I felt disgusted is because I was trying to blame people for things that were my fault. Because this operation, like every operation, when you are the senior leader on the battlefield, you're in charge of everything. And every one of those mistakes that happened are because of me.